this is an example of worst case scenario right here, and I truly mean that. Off camera, we have a Kawasaki Ninja 250R, and it's a 2009 model. And as newer stuff comes along, I'm not going to say that I am the most equipped locksmith here, but this is a great example of what's going to happen. We have a vehicle that we have no key blanks for, no code for, and most importantly, no depth and spacing. It is out there if one wants to find it, but for this purpose, I did not have it. I don't know what the heck I did with my card, but it doesn't matter. This is a great method right here for making a key when you have one key, when you have no depth and spacing. Now what I've basically done here is I'm just removing one wafer at a time. I'm being very careful because these wafers in Kawasaki motorcycles, they like to fall out on their own. What I've carefully done is I've procured a blank, a very expensive blank from the dealership, because unfortunately my supplier did not have them in a timely manner. I didn't have 2 days to wait around for these things. So anyway, what I'm doing basically is I'm removing one wafer at a time, and I'm coming in with a broken pick. You notice this has a very sharp edge on it. And what I'm basically doing is I'm going in there and I'm gouging the side of the key blank. And as I come in there, push the left, scrape down, push the right, scrape down. I'm not contacting anything but the key blank, but I'm using the cylinder as a guide. I'm making 100% sure that the key is situated all the way in the depth of this lock right here. But what's going on is from those scratches, I can definitely, I'm going to do this very carefully, from those gouge marks, I can definitely find the spacing on this. Now, once again, we don't have the depth, so what I'm doing is I'm going over to my micrometer card right here, and I'm basically putting those scratches right on top of where my tool needs to be. This is something that I'm eyeballing. Once I do a very light cut, as in I'm cutting 3/1000ths, just enough to see brass. You can see I'm cutting through the chrome just enough so I can see brass. And then what I'm doing is I'm fine-tuning left to right and putting that cut right in the middle. I'm looking through the hole and finding that channel, making sure that I'm cutting right exactly where I need to be. Now the interesting thing about this is that this method is very tedious, but it almost guarantees a perfect working key because you're going so slow, you're just going one cut at a time. And if anybody's been watching my videos previously, what I do as soon as I get a perfect working cut is I flip it over and mirror that cut. It's a slow process. There's some tricks to this. What you can do is you can get one cut bullseye and then measure the distance between that cut and the next cut, and then you can jump the same amount. Sometimes something funky goes on where the third and the fourth are much bigger distance than the first two, something like that. If you're working with a $15 key blank, I recommend just going one at a time. Once again, these key blanks are available for about $1 a piece through my supplier. Unfortunately, I did not have time. This is more of a worst case scenario video of describing how to make a key here. So anyway, what we're going to do, we're just going to progress. I've got 2 more cuts left. We're taking one wafer out at a time because you will never recall where you put that back in. One wafer out at a time, gouging the key from the top through the cylinder itself, scratching it up nice, lining it up with the cutter, coming down and cutting. And of course, when I'm done with this, I'm going to take a blank card and I'm going to fill in the information and write Kawasaki KW, I believe this is KW33 on the back. Maybe, you know, it's a great idea to write some just notes to yourself saying, hey, key blanks do not copy well, key blanks copy high, homemade, you know, spacing, whatever. You know, the cards are a great place to put notes on it. But once again, this is a worst case scenario here. This is if you have like a Korean motorcycle, and I've had those a few dozen times now, where I've got something that uses a blank or can use a blank that wasn't designed for it, like a Nissan car key blank, and I put that in the lock cylinder. Of course, this is Kawasaki. The depth and spacing is out there. I just don't have access to it. But I want to show you guys you can make a perfect key even though you don't know the depth and spacing once you get that cylinder out there.